booktubers and YouTubers alike, my name is Misha from Bookie Books and this is my cupboard under my stairs. Today I want to talk to you guys about my Harry Potter obsession and why I have so many books and why I'm so obsessed with Harry Potter and all things pottery. I've got the posters, I have the signed pictures, I have my letter from J.K. Rowling, I have about 100 copies of the book, it feels like. I have on my Harry Potter scarf, I've been to Harry Potter World in London. My cupboard under the stairs is inspired by Harry Potter. So, let's just get started. There's lots of books that I've got to go through. The first book is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I have the adult version. The French version, I don't speak French, so I hope this is actually Harry Potter inside it. It could be anything because I don't speak French, but I have it. I have the children's edition with the young Harry Potter at the back and the one with their mistakes where they reprinted it. Then I have the Harry Potter with the old Dumbledore at the back with no mistakes. And then I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the adult edition and the child edition. I have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, children edition that is signed. Is it this one? No, it's the other one. The children edition that is signed. Let me show you the signed. That is signed by J.K. Rowling. And then I have the adult edition of that. Then I have the one edition of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I am going to get the children's edition of this. Need to get that as an adult edition, but I do have the children's edition of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And then 2 editions of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, adult and children. And then Order of the Phoenix, the children's edition. Then I have all 7 books of the deluxe copy. Again, these books are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, with the lovely illustrations on it. Same illustrations that you'll find on the children's book, but just in hardback. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful books. Then I have Harry Potter Library. Now these are gorgeous books, absolutely gorgeous books. Hardback, beautiful. I have those. And then, last but not least, I have the illustration edition of the Philosopher's Stone. So as soon as they release the other 6 copies of this, I'm going to buy that too. Love Harry Potter. Got on my little scarf. I just love it. Got my little man. I also have all 7 editions of them in miniature. Why do I have so many editions of the same book, you might ask? Well, I have memories with all of these books. The first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, I was 17 when this book first came out. So that is what? 18 years ago? 19 years ago, I think. And I can remember I moved from Kent to Bristol on my own. First time I moved out of home was when I was 17. And I was sharing flats with a friend, and I made a friend called Carrie Palmer. And she was reading this book, and she said that she absolutely loved it, and I should read it too. And when she gave me this book, I was like, it's a children's book? I'm going to read a children's book. She was like, no, Michelle, you will love it. Read it, you will love it. And she was right. I borrowed it, I took it home, I read it that night, gave it back to her the other day, and told her she was right. And when I think of this book, it makes me think of Carrie and my time in Bristol and the friends that I made and all the new experience that I had throughout the time of reading this book. So it's the memories that I have behind the book. Not so much the story now. At the time it was the story, but not so much now. But I loved it. She also lent me the second book when that came out, The Chamber of Secrets, and I can remember reading this and thinking, what a brilliant book, what a brilliant idea. Who is this J.K. Rowling? She's amazing. Where can I get more? Where can I get more? Now at this time, I was a nanny, and the little boy that I knew to look after just started preschool, and he didn't want to go in. So I had to sit outside the preschool whilst he goes in and calm down, and then I could go. So what I end up doing is sitting outside the preschool and reading this. And I can remember sitting outside the preschool, and then you had like a wall, and then you had like the children's toilets, and I sat kind of in between there. On the chair, I sat and read this until he calmed down and I was able to go. So every time I pick up this book, it reminds me of my nannying time in Bristol, and again of Carrie. So again, the memories behind the book, and it makes me smile. My motto is, things that make you smile, you keep close. Things that don't, push them away. So it makes me smile, and it makes me think of that time in my life. The third Harry Potter book was when I met my friend Becky Morgan. Now, Becky Morgan at the time, her sister was a proofreader and she proofread books. And this book came out and I really wanted to read it, but it wasn't out to buy yet. So she said to me, her sister has a copy, I can borrow it, I must give it back because it is her sister's copy. So I borrowed it, I read it. So every time I pick up this book, I think of Rebecca Morgan. So, and her sister and her proof. She lent me this and Sophie Costello, Secret Diary of a Shopaholic as well at the same time. So every time I pick up these two books, it reminds me of Becky and the friendship we have and how we're still friends now, 18, 19 years later. So thank you, Becky, for lending me your book. Then the third book, the fourth book, these are in no order, I'm just going to pick them up as I go along. The Goblet of Fire. I queued up for this book. I was that person that went to the shop at midnight, queued outside for 20 minutes to an hour just to pick up my copy. I picked it up and I was so happy, so happy. I was at that time living in Bristol still, and I just met my husband then. We were just kind of boyfriend and girlfriend, and I dropped everything. I was in college, training, and I can remember picking up this book and not doing any studying because I'm going to sit and read this book. And I can remember the house that I lived in, I can remember what I was wearing and the smells of my housemates cooking and meeting my boyfriend afterwards. Again, the memories behind the book are strong memories. Now, the last two books, by this time in my life I was married to my husband. And these two books came out, and both of them I didn't want to queue up. I really wanted to read them really badly. I needed to know how they finished, needed them really badly, but I didn't want to queue up. So I said to my husband, the following day, let's just go down to Waterstones and pick them up, and I'll just read them then. Obviously not at the same time, but each of them. And twice my husband went out at that night, queued up, and got the books for me. Twice he did it, twice without me knowing. So in the morning I woke up and on my bed, at the bottom of the bed, was the book. He did this twice, and every time I pick up these books, it makes me smile and remember how much my husband must love me to go out and queue, because it makes me happy thinking about it. So again, the memories behind the book. Good storyline, but the memories behind the book. So, lastly, but not least, is the special edition of Hogwarts Library, which consists of 3 books. Right, when this book came out, I was going through IVF to have my son. And when they came out and we bought these books, I can remember being told that we can't have children and being really upset and devastated that we couldn't have children. So I went out and treated myself to these books, which made me smile. And then we had IVF and the IV worked, and now I have my gorgeous son. So every time I think of these books, or I pick these books up and I read these books, it reminds me of how lucky I am to have my son and my husband, and that the IVF worked, and the trials and tribulations we had through that. So this is why I have these books. Lastly, the illustration edition. I am in love with this book. In love with it. I love it. I love the illustrations are just perfect. Perfect illustrations in a perfect book. I love it. So now when I pick up this book, which I got last week, I am married now with my son, and my husband's upstairs, and we live in Weston-super-Mare in Somerset in the UK. So hopefully in 10 years time I will pick up this book and remember that stage of my life when I bought and read this book. That I'm going to sit and read this book with my son that I didn't have when this book came out, that my husband that I didn't have when this book came out. So again, it's the memories I have behind the books that make me go and buy the Harry Potter books. The deluxe edition was a Christmas present to myself. I wanted them really badly and I bought them for myself at Christmas. I love them. I do love them. I will show you them, but there's so many and they're really heavy, so I'm not going to. But that's it. That's where my Harry Potter obsession comes from, and why I have so many Harry Potter books and Harry Potter bits, even Harry Potter man. Say hello, Harry. Hello, my name's Harry. How you doing? Okay, that is it. Love you all, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.